Hi everyone, it's your girl designer Soapbox and I am back with another video. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about why you should not cancel your credit card accounts. So first, let's just talk about what makes up your credit score and how canceling your credit cards can affect you. So credit makes up 10% of your credit score, and length of credit history is 15% of your credit score. I have an image here that shows basically what makes up your FICO score. So when you build new credit or adding on new credit, that is 10% of your credit score. Also, payment history is 35% of your credit score. So that is the biggest effect on your credit score. So late payments are definitely very detrimental to your credit score. It is important to have at least 99% to 100% of on-time payments for your credit score to have a great credit score. 30% of your credit score is basically the amount owed. So now that you kind of get an idea of what makes up your credit score, you will need at least 2 revolving credit accounts and 1 installment loan to produce at least a fair credit. So some of you may have a thin credit, or some of you may log on to credit reporting websites like Credit Karma and it gives you like a notice saying that you don't have a credit score. Well, it's because you need at least 2 revolving accounts, which is 2 credit cards, or something like a trade line and 1 installment loan to produce a credit score, which will get you to a fair credit if you have no negatives on your account. So that's basically a summary in a nutshell about how a credit score works and what makes up your credit score. So let's dive right in on why I believe you should not cancel your credit card accounts. I'm going to give you guys reasons why you should not and reasons of what happens if you cancel your credit score. So if you cancel your credit score, it will reduce your available credit. So perhaps you have a couple of store cards that you have 500, 1,000, 2,000 on it. Well, this will, or you have other credit cards that aren't store cards and they are, with a limit on there, will it reduce your available credit. So you never know when emergencies may happen. So I definitely do not believe canceling your credit cards for those that for emergencies, because you never know when you may need it. You may be not using them now, but that's okay. Keeping them open is better safe than sorry. Also, this is one of the biggest scenarios I see a lot of people make, and I'm not sure the logic behind it, but I want to inform you, do not pay off the credit card and then cancel it, right? You're paying off the credit card and then you cancel it. It's more beneficial to the credit card lender than it was for you because you just canceled it. So once you paid off that credit card debt, your utilization went down, but you weren't able to see that increase because you canceled the card, which will reduce your credit age in your credit mix because that card is no longer a part of your credit mix anymore and it's now included in the closed account. So you don't benefit much from that. So if you do pay off your credit card, keep it open. Just don't use it anymore, right? But keep it open for the credit age, okay? To increase and for the credit mix to stay current, okay? Just like I just mentioned. So I wanted to give a picture to show you guys how a credit score works when you have older credit cards. So a card that is 7+ years or more is good to increase the maximum points of your credit score. So a lot of people may ask, well, how do I get to an 800 credit score? I've been building my credit. I've been adding, credit cards and loans to my credit. How do I get to an 800 credit score? Honestly, the longer you keep your cards open, that's how you're going to get to an 850 credit score. You cannot build an 850 credit score overnight, okay? Unless you have grandma and grandpa and mother and dad credit cards that are like 10 plus years on your account, you cannot get to 850 credit score within 6 months. It's not doable because 15% of your credit score is length of credit history and 10% of your credit score is credit mix. So you'll need to keep those accounts for a long time and you'll need to let it age. This is how lenders see yourself more, less of a risk and more responsible because you know how to keep your accounts current, paid on time, and for a long time, right? So instead of counseling your credit cards, I'm going to give you guys a couple of ideas of what to do instead of doing that. So instead, do this now. Cards you did not use, keep them, but keep the revolving credit to 0%, so pay it down, but also keep it open, okay? You don't need to pay it down and close it, and you don't need to use it as much. You can also freeze that card if you don't use that credit card anymore to, stop any fraudulent activity or anything that may occur on that card. You can freeze it once it get paid down to 0% so that it's not being used, so you don't get charged any additional fees at the end of the month or be surprised. Also, you can call to ask them to waive the fees if you have a credit card that have high fees or high interest rates. You want to waive the fees like the annual fee, or if it has a monthly fee, you can honestly ask them to waive it for 6 to 12 months, which will probably be your best bet if you really do not plan on using this card anymore. Try not to cancel it, just try not to use it, and then call them and ask to waive the fees for 6 to 12 months. This will definitely do you more good than harm. Find a new credit card with no fees, which I highly recommend when you're building your credit. I understand there are a lot of lenders that may email you or mail you credit card offers. Keep in mind that cards with high fees are something that you don't want because you eventually don't want to use that credit card anymore because it helped you build your credit in the beginning, but you no longer need it now. So you will want to just, make sure you think about the long run as well and not just the short run when you're building your credit, because you don't want to cancel your credit cards because it's going to mess up your credit history. So just try to find credit cards with no fees to build your credit history, and then remove the credit card you plan to cancel. So what I mean by that, if you really must want to cancel this credit card, you're like, the hell with it, I want to cancel this card, I don't want it anymore, then what I recommend is, waive the fees, call and waive the fees first if they can, then find a new credit card that has no fees, get that new credit card that has no fees, and keep that old credit card open for at least 6 to 12 months, but pay it down to zero, and then cancel that card after the 12 months because you have a new credit card that has no fees and that is reporting on your credit report for 12 months. So when you remove that old credit card, it doesn't hurt your credit score as much because that new credit card that you add is giving it like a balance. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So if you remove a credit card, make sure another credit card makes up for it. So just like I said, just make sure that if you really have to remove a credit card, make sure you have another credit card that makes up for it. So the score won't drop tremendously because it will drop if you have a thin credit profile or if you don't have too many credit cards on your profile. You can also do a hack, which is an authorized user. So if you do plan on dropping that old credit card that had the high interest rate, the authorized user would basically pick up that credit age in that credit account. So your credit mix and your credit length history doesn't drop. So that's a hack that most people don't know about, but that's what I recommend doing if you do honestly want to remove that card. You can also freeze the card if you don't use it, which I highly recommend so that you don't cancel it or you don't rack up fees, or just keep it in a safe place. Don't take it with you, leave it at home, keep it in somewhere where you don't use it, and then also freeze it so you can just allow that credit card to let it age so it can, add more credit age to your credit profile so that your score can increase over time. Also, any cards that are less than 2 years won't hurt your score, but cards that are over 2 years will likely hurt your score more. So if you do plan on canceling a credit card that's less than 6 months, it's not going to actually hurt your score as much as a credit card that you cancel 2 or more years, because in this previous slide, I have a chart here where a credit card that's less than 2 years is not going to hurt your score more. It's actually going to make your score go down a little bit. But as payment history increases, it's going to, you're going to see your credit payment and your credit score increase more, after 1 or 2 payments. 2 to 4 years is still in the red, so it's not going to increase as much, but you're going to get in a moderate 5 to 6 years as your credit card ages, and you're going to see a major increase. And then after 7+ years, your credit card is outstanding, and that's good to a lot of lenders. They see that you have a credit card open for longer than 7 years, and you're good enough for loans. You're good enough for larger credit limits. You're good for a lot of things in their products and services. So they like to see that. So keeping your credit cards open does you more good than harm. Okay, so as a designer soapbox, I wouldn't be designer soapbox to tell you guys what I really personally think about one of the credit cards. I totally, want to give you guys advice. Avoid credit one straight up. I'm just going to say avoid credit one, only because I've seen a lot of people that are building credit, ask this question like, Credit One send me an offer, should I apply with them? I don't know. I don't, avoid it. There are other ways to build credit. Secured credit cards is what I highly recommend if you just have horrible credit. But honestly, fixing your credit, first fix your credit before adding more credit on there, because if you are fixing your credit, you want to remove the negatives first, because you don't know exactly what you can qualify after removing all those negatives. So credit one is just complete trash. It can basically, help your credit score in the short term, but you're thinking about the long term, which I just gave you that chart. I honestly don't think having a credit card for 7 years on your credit report will do you any good, because they have fees, monthly fees, annual fees, and I honestly don't think you would be wanting to pay a credit card that you don't use anymore, every month or every year. Like, I don't think you want to do that, especially not a credit one, maybe a American Express, but especially not a credit one, right? So I would just avoid it. If you really need it, then go for it. But there's other options. Like I said, just don't go for the first option you see. And like I said, this is more so a long term that I'm talking about. I'm thinking about the long term in credit. Like I showed you, it's not about the more credit cards you have, it's about the longer credit history that you have in order to build that 850 credit score. So I would avoid credit one, because most likely after 6 months to a year, you're going to want to cancel it anyway, because you're now qualifying for better credit cards with no annual fees and lower interest rates. So I would just avoid credit one. Like I said, try to get a secure card first, a secure loan for 3 to 6 months. And then that second credit card, if you have no credit cards, then you can apply for an unsecured credit card. So that counts as your second revolving account. Please don't try to rush the process by applying for, bad credit cards, because you're going to regret it in the long run, and then you're going to go back to square one by canceling your credit cards, and now your credit score is low and you have to figure out how to get it back up. So just avoid credit one, guys. I see a lot of people asking me, how do I get rid of this credit card? It's killing me. So for those that are thinking about getting credit one, avoid it. There's other credit cards like Discover, I highly recommend, and Capital One, I highly recommend for good starter cards, but I highly recommend secured cards from your bank and your credit unions first. So I hope this is beneficial. So helpful tips: make sure you manage your cards, but don't cancel them, okay? manage your cards by keeping them low in utilization, or just paying them down to zero and just let it report so that you can get that credit age so that your score can increase over time. Stay away from the cards that have annual fees and high interest rates, such as Credit One. So stay away from those type of cards because they're not going to do you any good in the long run. They may boost your score when you first get it, but they're not going to do you good in the long run. You're going to end up likely canceling on cards because you're going to end up seeing that you're paying for credit cards. You might as well buy a trade line, and it's going to do you more good than that. You're just paying for that. You're just paying for a credit card and you're just making them more money. So stay away from those type of credit cards. But if you cannot get, you know, credit cards that have low interest rates and no annual fees, be patient, remove those negative stuff off your credit report, and then go ahead with the credit cards. Don't try to rush the process again. Stay away from multiple store credit cards. I highly don't recommend going to Walmart, Victoria's Secret, Wayfair, all those type of stores and just applying for credit cards. No, I don't recommend that. Those are credit cards that you are definitely not going to use all the time unless you're like a die-hard fan of those stores. I or a Sam's card or a Sam's Club, something like that, or Costco. You don't need too many of those store cards. They're going to do you, you know, more harm than good. Just try to look at, like, for instance, your mom and dad or your grandfather and grandmother credit profile. Most of them don't have many store credit cards. They may have like a credit union card, a bank card, a mortgage, an auto loan, stuff like that. But the reason why their credit score is so high and is because they keep their credit cards long and they keep them open for long and they have no balance on them, or they're paying every month or not missing a payment, but they don't have that many credit cards, or there's something like that. Like, it's because of their payment history and their length of their credit history. So that is how you maintain a good credit score. You don't need a lot of credit to build credit. Just build it by having long-term history with the lenders. So this is how you are able to get things. If you don't want to use your credit as leverage, if you just want to have good credit over the time, just build your credit slowly but surely. Now, if you want to leverage credit, then you definitely want to do this on the business side and not the personal side. So that is a different, that is definitely a different way to go about it. But a lot of people have different reasons on why they want to rebuild their credit. So think about the reasons you want to rebuild your credit, and then think about, what are you applying for? Does this benefit me in the short run or the long run? Right? You always want to go for the long run because you want to treat your personal credit as gold. So if you need store cards, get a business. If you don't, but if you do have a business, apply with them through your business as, like, basically your business credit. So most store cards like Lowe's, Target, Costco, Walmart, Shell, gas cards, like all that stuff, you can get through your business credit. You don't need to jeopardize your personal credit to get those type of cards, okay? Most of them are no personal guarantor, so they will not pull your credit as a hard inquiry. So always remember, there are better options out there. Do not hinder your personal credit for these store cards. You can always, get that on your business side. So try not to apply for too much credit in 6 months. Again, like I said, the key goal is to have credit cards that are open for very long, 7+ years. So the more credit you apply for within 6 months is going to make your 7+ years credit age go down to 3 to 4 years. Okay, so try not to apply for too much credit on your personal side. If you really need that credit, open up a business and apply for it through your business, so it does not hurt your personal credit, because business cards do not report to your personal credit. Most business credit cards don't, and that's the credit cards that you want. If you have a business, run the store cards up. Okay, if you want to get lots of store cards, Target, Costco, Sam's Club, Wayfair, all of those store cards, run them up on your business credit, especially for tax advantages, so you can save lots of money during tax season, and also there's better interest rates and better payment terms. Okay, so just keep in mind that there are other options. Treat your personal credit as gold. Your personal credit should only be a backup if you have a business and business credit. You don't need as much stuff on your personal credit. Run it up on your business credit, okay? Especially, if you do have a business, your personal will be a backup for a lot of things. So if you have too much stuff going on your personal credit and it's just all over the place and it's not strong enough, you're likely not going to get a lot of stuff in your business credit. Just keep your personal credit stored somewhere in your pocket and just run it up on your business credit. Treat your personal credit as gold. Remember, you only get one social security number, so you only get one personal credit, but you can have multiple businesses, multiple EINs. So if you must need to run it up, use a business credit game hack. If you made it to this end of the video, now you know. If you must have to close your credit cards, make sure you have more credit card accounts to replace the existing account that you are closing. So, like I said, if you have to close that credit one, any other credit cards that have high interest or high annual fees, make sure you ask grandma. Make sure you ask mother, grandfather, dad, auntie, uncle that they have 100% payment history on time with a long credit age. Make sure you ask them to add you as an authorized user. And so when you close that credit card that have a high interest rate, that new credit card that grandma let you on will now replace that existing account that you are closing, and your score did not drop, it actually increased. So another thing is, you can also just, like I said, do the hack where you can waive the fees first, keep that card reporting for another 12 months, and then apply for another card that has no fees, no high interest rates, and then after 12 months, let the old card that you want to remove, you can cancel it. So by that time, that new card is reporting for 12 months and it doesn't hinder your score a little bit. It may hinder your score like less than 5 points, but it's not hindering your score 30 points of canceling a card. So that's just, some tips and hacks for you guys.
Hi everyone, it's Designer Soapbox. I just wanted to make this video to guys let you know that I am having a 50% off sale for 72 hours. Yes, a 50% off sale on the 24-hour express ink removal guide and also the late payment removal guide. So just head down to the description or to the pinned comments and click the link and get your 50% off. Remember, this inquiry removal will help you remove hard inquiries from your credit report within 24 hours. And then the late payment guide will help you remove your late payments very fast, super fast actually. If you're tired of disputing your late payments, waiting 30 to 45 days, this is a quicker method of getting these late payments removed. So if you guys enjoyed a lot of my content, I talk about this in my videos. However, I have this in an ebook. I'm doing 50% off for you guys. If you missed the 60% off sale, I'm doing one for 50% off. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and thanks for supporting, and make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Bye.
So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Comment down below what you think about this video. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Follow me on Instagram at Designer Soapbox. And make sure you check out those ebooks at designersoapbox.com. Got that 24-hour inquiry removal, that late payment guide, and much more on the website. So tap in, guys. And don't forget, I love you all. Bye.